Special games have special meaning to Philadelphia fans. In remembering those games, we usually point out a highlight, not the opponent. We have such a penchant for naming games that we decided to come up with a top 5 list for it. The top 5 games with names. Coming in at number 5, the Eagles take a scientific approach to cramping, the pickle juice game.
And the best part about the pickle juice game is it's kind of like, do you really believe in that sort of thing? Like, yeah, does pickle juice really work?
Science has since proven why that worked. I mean, they've actually tested college kids with pickle juice, and they didn't cramp as much as the guys that weren't on pickle juice. So there's science behind it, and that's what Rick Burkholder knew. But to me, that was also a changing of the guard. You know, the 90s were dominated by the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. And that was pretty much the moment where the Eagles said, this division is ours for the next 10 years.
Coming in at number 4, a game known more for who wasn't playing than who was. It's the body bag game.
It was like going back to the Broad Street bullies of the Flyers days in hockey. I mean, nobody did that stuff. The body bag game was amazing. And we as Philadelphia sports fans loved that kind of stuff, even though we weren't the one, being carried off the field.
Everybody you talk to now claims they were there that night. And the other part is now the body count has risen to the point where it's double figures. If you talk to somebody, stop somebody on the street now, and they'll say, yeah, I was there, and there were 17 Redskins got carried off the field that night. No, it might have been 19 that got carried off the field that night. It's one of those sort of urban myth things that has just grown and grown. Well, the actual count is 6. But that was enough. I mean, it got the job done.
Coming in at number 3, the Oilers brought the house. The Eagles brought the pain in the House of Pain game.
Love the House of Pain game. Let's go back. Monday Night Football was a big deal, right? Jerry Glanville was gone. He took Elvis with him and they left the building. Jack Pardee is the coach of the Houston Oilers. And when you try to think back of the specifics of that game, all I remember is that was the year Randall got hurt in the first game when Bryce Pop took his knee out going low in the first game against the Green Bay Packers. And the Eagles had a whole raft of different quarterbacks, but it was Jeff Kemp and Roger Ruzak were the heroes of that game.
When you think about an era of a team that didn't win a whole lot of playoff games, that's probably the game that sticks out because Houston was this high-flying offense. They were the rave of the NFL. That's all anybody talked about.
That Houston Oiler team was a team that they were kind of a finesse team. They weren't a real hard-nosed team. They spread the field and they liked to throw to these little receivers. And the Eagles' defensive secondary, Wes Hopkins, Andre Waters, those guys, they broke a couple noses, knocked guys out. And by the second half of that game, the Oilers receivers wanted no parts of the football.
Of course, you'll never forget Jerome Brown walking off the field saying, they brought the house, we brought the pain. That was, to me, defined that defense, that game.
Coming in at number 2 and at number 1, 2 games so good that the original and the sequel tied. They are the Miracle at the Meadowlands numbers 1 and 2. And please, you pick the order.
The first one to me has much more impact because Herm Edwards, will live in infamy. And the fact that the Giants handing the ball off and Joe Pisarcik, that's one you can watch over and over again and never get tired of it.
Look, I love Herm Edwards and the Miracle at the Meadowlands 1. But come on, man, this is the point in time where the sequel is better than the original. Miracle at the Meadowlands 2, DeSean Jackson returning that punt. I got goosebumps just thinking about it right now. Tom Coughlin, I will never forget the visual of him slamming down his play chart, whatever it was, and the idiot punter kicking it to DeSean Jackson to just, of all things you're going to do, you're going to punt to the best punt returner in the game.
Everyone remembers DeSean because of the punt, but it was Brent Selleck, it was Macklin, and you got to give Vic his due. Vic was unstoppable that day.
I would say Miracle in the Meadowlands 1 because, you'll never forget the vision of Herman Edwards running into the end zone and being mobbed by his teammates. And it also changed the way the NFL does things. Everything now is a kneel down in that situation as opposed to a handoff. So it was a very historic moment.
So there you have it, your top 5 games with names of all time. Let us know what you think on Twitter using @EaglesShows, #EaglesTop5.